Leader love. Um, like I love sports, and hopefully you know that by now. So I'm gonna use another comparison, sports comparison. Leader love. In football, sometimes if the team is not doing well, the quarterback or the leader steps up and throws touchdowns to win. This it's not it's so much more dangerous, but it's a similar comparison. An hour into the invasion, things seemed hopeless for the Allies at Omaha. The battle was at a complete standstill. Wounded and dead filled the beach. Survivors huddled in groups wherever they could escape enemy fire. Many of them were wounded, without weapons. All of them were weak and exhausted. How had it come to this? Just when defeat seemed certain, leaders rose among the men. Individual soldiers acting on their own at separate spots stepped forward and got the attack moving again. First Lieutenant William Moody was hiding at the bottom of the cliffs with about 25 other guys. They huddled inside shallow sea caves dug out by the water. For the moment, they were safely out of range of German gunners. Moody decided to do something, anything but sit and wait. How could he and his men up the cliff and fight back? The rock was much too steep to climb where they were. Moody motioned for two soldiers to follow him. Soon they were hiking along the base of the cliffs in search of a better spot to climb, so they were still hopeful that they could maybe climb and succeed. Moody jabbed his bayonet. It's this thing that you put on top of a rifle, and it's kind of like a sword and a gun mixed into one. You might have seen one of those bayonets in my Mackinac Island video, if you've seen that. Anyways, Moody jabbed his bayonet into the cliff's face, and pulled himself up a few feet. Doing it again, he pulled up a few feet more. The two soldiers behind him followed suit. Somehow the three men reached the top without setting off landmines. Thank you, General Moody. Lieutenant Moody had made it to the top, and so he dropped rope ladders for the other men to climb. Now they could finally meet the enemy face to face. Though a German bullet killed Moody later that day, he is remembered as a D-Day hero. The man to lead the first unit on Omaha to reach high ground. Thank you, General Moody. Now, Old Man Dutch. This is going to be a funny story. General Norman Dutch Coda was watching the men through binoculars from a boat offshore. At 51 years old, wow, that's really old, Coda was the oldest soldier at Omaha. As a general, he was supposed to stay on the ship and radio in commands. But this was crisis time. Dutch tossed out the rules, not literally, but he grabbed a gun and waded to shore. The men stuck at the seawall suddenly looked out to see the stocky man running across the beach smoking a cigar. He was fearless. So Dutch was smoking a cigar, and that's really funny. He spoke these now famous words. Gentlemen, we are being killed on the beaches. Let us go inland and be killed. And soon the soldiers were picking up weapons on the beach, finding helmets, and cleaning the sand from their rifles. Finally, the enemy they could meet the enemy face to face. A rain of German bullets killed a lot, but Dutch, he led so many other soldiers up the bluff. So that's amazing. And now, victory. The Allies had officially won. How? Thanks to all those leaders, Moody, Dutch Coda, and all of them. Thanks. and no one knew how they've made it. Every minute, more Allied troops were storming up the cliff. Battles atop the cliffs now raged. Firing flamethrowers and hurling grenades, the Allies flushed the enemy out of bunkers and trenches. German soldiers were too busy defending themselves to fire on the beaches. So the Germans were officially outnumbered. So that's it. That will end my D-Day number 2 video. But first, how about I'm going to show you some things. So let me move myself to the side. Here you can see all the beaches. This is Utah Beach. The Americans invaded Utah Beach. Utah Beach looks like the biggest, and it actually is. But these Gold and Juno, they look like one beach, but they're actually 2 separate beaches. So I think Utah's probably the biggest, or either Gold or Juno. The Americans invaded Utah. The Americans invaded Omaha, mostly. There could have been some other English forces, England forces that helped Utah and Omaha, and so did Canadians. The English forces, or the Great Britain forces, invaded Gold and Sword, and the Canadians invaded Juno. So 3 different countries invading 5 different beaches. Here you can see the English Channel, the river or lake or the sea that I was talking about. And down in the left corner, you can, right next to my picture, you can see the world map, or should I say the France map. The square is locating where this big part is located, and you can see the top white part is Great Britain, the bottom of Great Britain, and the blue part is the English Channel. So that's going to end it. But remember, I told you I'm going to show you some pictures. Well, all right. So let me make my picture bigger. And here you can see the big 3. There's Winston Churchill right here of the Great Britain. This is President Franklin Roosevelt. And this is Joseph Stalin of Russia. Here on the bottom, you can see Dwight D. Eisenhower right in the middle. And he meets with other officers. This is probably where he made the decision. Okay, let's go. Here you can see fighter planes at dawn flying to to France. This is the U.S. planes flying over the French coast. And these are anti-aircraft fire lights. So that's really cool. So you can spot the aircrafts. This is General Eisenhower speaking with paratroopers. Some you can see have black in their faces, like this one here. And yeah, here you can see U.S. soldiers crowded into a landing craft. And how about some more pictures? This one is amazing. These are hundreds of paratroopers dropping from planes. They look like tiny dots, but each of these tiny dots can make a big difference. One of those is probably Winters. At the top of this picture, you can see a bunch of planes dropping the paratroopers. So that's one of my favorite pictures in the World Wars. Here you can see U.S. soldiers exiting a landing craft, and the top here you can see U.S. troopers rushing towards Omaha Beach. Right here you can see GI wading past German anti-boat obstacles. So that's a soldier waiting. All right. You can see, right here you can see Americans sit in the cover of their foxholes. And right below there you can see soldiers lifting an inflatable tank decoy. Remember all those tricks I talked about in the last video? Here you can see Allied troopers heading to Omaha Beach. And these are infantry troopers carefully crossing the road under fire. These are some German soldiers that are surrendering to the Allies. And right below there, you can see German soldiers marching after being captured. This is probably an Allied soldier with the bayonet. So you can see the bayonet I was talking about. That tip is the bayonet part. And right below, there's a rifle. You can put that bayonet on top of the rifle, and it's now a rifle with a sword on top or a knife on top. Now, here you can see American soldiers resting next to rubble. That's probably in Normandy. Next page, you can see World War II post-promoting women entering the workforce, and right next to that, it's a model of Private John Steele dangling from a church steeple. Right there. And that's the woman one. Winston Churchill speaks to soldiers who fought on D-Day. Here you can see Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister of Great Britain, and those are all other soldiers who Winston Churchill is speaking to. And this is the last picture, which will conclude our video. This is a D-Day memorial on present-day Utah Beach. Now, as you can see, there's an American flag and a French flag. There's a French flag because it's in France, but there's an American flag because, well, you can see right here, Americans invaded Utah Beach. And so that will conclude this video. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Next week I might be a little busy, so I apologize if I can't record. But see you there, and bye.